Welcome back to Tales of Aeternus. In the last video, I made a windmill with a wheat field to start bringing this town to life, and in this episode, I plan on making 3 new builds to add even more life to this town. Now you may be noticing that I'm voicing this over rather than my usual method. I'm seeing if this works out better, because if it does, I can do so much more with this series. But firstly, let's fix this house. I was meant to do like a cool transition, but after I built the entire interior, the inside burnt down and there was ash everywhere. I'm still unsure of what happened. I think a lantern fell down, but I can't work out how that happened either. So anyway, here's the new interior. So I walk in, and as you can see, I've got my little workbench here, got a little cutting board, some flower pots, I got my stone cutter here. I left a little bit of ash because it kind of looks like it's a bit dusty and it's a bit cool. I've got my barrels scattered out with a little glass item frame so you can see what is meant to kind of be the vibe of that barrel to make my life a little bit easier. And then upstairs we've got our kitchen area. I definitely need to fix this up because it doesn't look the prettiest. And same over here with my bed frame. It actually looks god awful, but that's fine. And then outside we got the window, and I was too lazy to get another piece of glass, so I put a wooden board there instead. To start off, I'm going to be rebuilding the blacksmith, as it was one of the few buildings that I actually had in the old world, but I am going with a bit of a different design choice. I feel this change in aesthetic really is going to fit this vibe of the world a bit more, and I'm really happy with the changes I've made. So I start off with a bit of a stony gradient in order to make the walls look nice and have a bit of a light feeling to them. And the foundation that I've sat the building on top of is made of tough bricks, as it just looks a lot better than being slapped on like some dirt or grass, especially for this kind of building. On the side here is where the blacksmith does like his heating and cooling of metals. I'm not exactly sure what the term is called. I'm not a blacksmith, as you could probably tell from your powers of deduction. And on the roof, I've decided to make it out of deep slate. It's going to be like a pointed design, and it kind of comes in from both the little side bit and from the front, and it connects up here, and it just works out to be the best for the blacksmith. Then a pack of hooligans decided to try and rob me at crosspoint, but I'm much better than them when it comes to combat. Besides, I got a lot of building to do, so I don't need these distractions, idiots. Now it's time for some decorating. I added in this little awning to the front door purely for the vibes, and added in support beams around the side as well. Then I made these copycat half panels, so that way I could have some extra detail with spruce wood, and honestly it really changes the build a lot for the better. Like, look at this difference. I continue to do this on the side, as well as adding a spruce trapdoor shutter, which is always a classic building technique. Making use of deep slate tile slabs and copycat panels, I was able to make this little bath of water for the blacksmith to use when he's cooling down the metals after heating. Still, I don't think there's an actual name for it. I've looked at it. It doesn't seem to have an actual name except for heat treating. Regardless, forgetting that, I decided to get back. Oh, great, a creeper, of course. What else could I possibly have wanted in that moment besides a creeper to blow up the building? Yep, love it for me. After patching up the hole, I decided to go in my house, where I find another creeper just chilling there waiting to blow up my front door, but I ran away this time so he can't do so, and then I find out a way to kill him, and I do. It's called being good at the game, and you know, I'm not really good at it. So yeah, for a game I played for most of my life, I'm not really good at it. So after having 2 creeper incidents, I just missed the one that I've walked past as I'm fixing up the last bit, and of course this guy blows up. Of course he would. That was completely on me. I should have seen that creeper. I'm just stupid at this point. So I add some lighting into the building, and then decide to add in an interior spruce roof, so that way you don't have to see the pointed deep slate above you when you're inside the building, even though I won't really be paying attention to what's up there most of the time. And now essentially the place is done. I've taken a little screenshot here to send to my friends because I actually had to rebuild this twice because I forgot to record it the first time. That's so funny of me. I love this. And oh, I'm signing back into the game. Hello, when did I leave the game? Oh, this is a different video. Lol. It's times like this when I'm grateful that I'm doing a voiceover instead, because why did I jump into the water bath and just twerk for a bit? I can't remember doing this. I don't think I recorded this part, but I definitely did, because no one has access to recording on my PC besides me. But why did I do that? Now it's time for the big job. I need to mine out the underneath part so I can put in the smeltery like I did last time. So I need to like perfectly line it up and mine out the area that I need it to be done. So I get this first big gap of area, and this is only the first layer. I actually need to go down again, but you know, I gotta fix the hole in my floor first, but apparently my machine ate the rest of the blocks, so I'll have to get those back in a moment. So I send my drill off to do the second layer, and take a miscalculation when I realized that I did some of the flooring into the dirt, so I'm gonna have to place those blocks back. I feel very stupid right now. I decided to mark out the area with the deep slate tiles that I'm gonna be using, so that way I know where I need to go and how far, and then I decide to just let the drill do its thing again. because it's the quickest way to get this thing sorted out. I then added in the effortless building mod, so that way I could make this little part easier for me to do, especially for future builds, because I have such limited time to record these. It just helps out with making the production a bit quicker. If you think it's too cheaty, I can remove it, but I really think it helped out a lot with this video. We ventured back down into the mine to make the drill do what it was actually intended to do, which is drill underground and get me a little bit more tough because I was running out quite fast. After filling in the roof with the tough bricks, I was able to then fill over the top of it with dirt because it looked pretty ugly, but I used the builder's wand for the dirt because you got to get a bit of a mix. You can't use this effortless building all the time. You need to put in a little bit of effort. Because I didn't want to have a completely flat piece of dirt behind the blacksmith, I decided to add a little bit of a hill just so there was a bit of texturing and stuff. I don't know, it's not the best work, but it's not the worst, and once it's got grass on it, it looks a lot nicer. I then also do a bit of terraforming on the side, so that way it's not just a sheer cliff. I decided to add in a bit of dirt and, you know, make it look nice. This is my world, I don't want it to look terrible. I need to make sure I'm keeping on top of things like this. I then decided to make the path from the house over to the blacksmith so I can connect that up, and I realized I never actually talked about the path that I made over to the windmill. I did that for a video, and that was going to be its own video, and I realized that's terrible. That's horrible. Like, I was not putting in enough effort. I was doing like a Stampys video kind of thing where I would just record for like 25 minutes and that was it. But no, this is the kind of content I need to put in. This is what, like 5 hours of content I'm condensed so far? That's great. Because I hate jumping all the time when I'm going up a block, I decided to put in these copycat slabs so that way the path can still be the same texture but go up a block, and I feel that really helps out a lot when I'm just running around aimlessly. So I went down to the basement area and realized I don't have any of the stuff to make this smeltery yet, so I'm going to have to go and get all those materials. I started off with sand as it was going to be the easiest, but I feel like I've done this way too close to where my house is, so now this is going to be this random chunk of sand that's just missing over in the distance, and I'm going to see it every time I walk out of my house if I look over slightly to the left, but it's fine, laziness pays, I guess. And then just jumped into the river to get some clay because it was going to be the quickest and easiest way for us to do it at the early game. I know that I can get like a tinker's tool, or no, a create tool, what? Not tinker's, a create tool that would allow me to, you know, break down some sand into clay, but that sounds like effort, and I'm just a bit lazy. I can't find the footage where I had the gravel, so I must have just had it somewhere in a chest, so I decided to go and combine it in the crafting table. That's what I'm using, a crafting table. I'm so good at Minecraft. I go to put the grout in the furnace and realize I have absolutely no coal, so I'm gonna have to go back down to the mines once again with my drill to go and get some coal. This is so much more effort than it needed to be. I should have just cheated it in. Once I get some coal and smelt up the grout to get seared bricks, I'm finally able to start on the tinker's furnace again, and it's just such a useful tool. I can't wait to use this thing. I then get stabbed 37 times in the chest. Are you kidding me? What the hell is this recipe for the seared controller? That is absolutely ridiculous. So I use my cheat pass, the pass that allows me to cheat at any point in time that I want. How many times is redeemable? As many times as I want it to be, because that was ridiculous. It was already hard enough to get it in the old world, so I'm just cheating it in. I don't care what anyone says. I could have cheated this in at the start, but I didn't. I could have done this and just edited it out and said I got the thing. But no, I'm being honest with you guys. I cheated in the seared controller because I had it in the old world, and then I had to remake it with all those stupid gizmos. Whatever this mod pack is, which it just keeps on having flaws after flaw, but I can't change again. Or can I? We'll see. I also got really angry and cheated in some seared tanks because that was annoying me too, even though that was like the same recipe and cheat, but I was just annoyed at this point. So after my very valid crash out, I decided to just finish off the second layer and just smelt some iron, which was my full intention for this machine anyway. And then I see that the iron that I have can't be smelted. It's not because there's no lava. It would say something about that. It's because it just can't be smelted. And this is another crash out, and I just ended up rage quitting after that. So after my very dignified crash out, I decided to change the recipe of what crushed iron becomes. It becomes an iron plate, which you could see as cheating, but you can't just use an iron plate for 99% of things, so you have to smelt them back down, and it just becomes an ingot, which is what I do. I don't care. That's what I'm doing. If I can figure out a way to make it so it smelts down back into a nugget form, I couldn't make that work. It wouldn't work. But yeah, see, it's just so much easier this way. I then add in this little dripstone area where I can have lava dripping into a cauldron, so I have infinite source of lava for this build because, you know, I'm a genius like that. What do we? Yeah, I'm so smart. I'm an alpha. What do we? Why the fuck did I say that? Oh god, cut it out, cut it out, cut it out. And then head down to get some more lava because I'm a pro Minecraft player and I know where to find lava when I need lava. So I decide, you know, why not just jump through this water, and instead of hitting the water at the bottom, I just hit the ground because, you know, that's how pro Minecraft players play the game. Yeah. It sucks to be the best at the game at all times, honestly. No one's on this level. 10 minutes into the video and I finally start on the second build of the day, which is going to be the fountain. So it's just going to be a bit of a decorational piece out front of my house. I'm going to cut this part out because I know I move it. Yeah, barely 3 seconds later, I grab out the build wand and get some dirt so I can actually extend this out and make the fountain a little bit further away from my house and on a flatter platform. Now, you need to trust the process here because I had to trust the process myself. So I make like a bit of like a circle pattern with like a block in the middle where the pillar's going to go, and then I surround it because I want it to kind of like dip downwards. So that's why I've got the copycat slabs, because most of the blocks that I want to put in the middle here won't be slabbable. These stone bricks, I'm realizing I could probably get back later. Oh wait, no, I can't, because it's the black and gray bricks that are going to be in that spot. I'm stupid. I probably should have watched the clip before I've wasted over, but we're committing to this bit now. So yeah, I just kind of surround this with some stone bricks to make it all cool like so. I pillar up in the middle and then make this second tier to the fountain. So I'm not 100% sure if I can really explain it from this current point of view. You need to continue to trust the process, adding in the slabs here. And then I go to add in like these little button things that like should look like spouts, but I realize that's like stupid and it's floating, so I decide to move it down onto the pillar itself, so it actually looks a lot better there. I finally get to the top and make it look the way that it needs to at the top, with this bit of like a clawed movement, I guess, like a clawed motion. I don't know how to really describe it, but this is what it's going to look like at the top. I just need to somehow work out how the water flows down. I think I'm just gonna have to waterlog these stairs and that slab potentially, even though it's not going to actually pour out of that slab and you won't see it. I don't know, we'll see. So after playing around with the water a little bit, doing this little infinite water trick, which then does remove it from flowing that way, but as soon as I pick up the water and put it back down, it goes down again. So I need to do it one more time so I can put it on the opposite side where it should go there, and then pick it back up and put it down, and then that should be all the water done. I have put a wall at the top too, because it does just add in that extra bit of texture, and then for some reason I put in a full block rather than a slab, but I guess it still works, because like regardless, you're not going to see the bottom half of the slab. So I tidy up my little temporary scaffolding because I haven't found bamboo to get actual scaffolding yet, and I look at it and it's gorgeous. I love it, especially with the shaders I've got going on. It looks like correct, it looks wonderful. I do need to fill in that spot, however. And then add in these little button things down the bottom here. They're just copycat like quarter panels, I think that's what they're called. But then I put some gold and I'm going to do some iron as well. So it looks like there's some coins in the fountain. Like people are making wishes that will never come true. After finishing up the fountain, I realized it's time to actually fix up this landscape because it looks horrible. We currently have a partially floating fountain. So we just get some dirt and fill this in because it's something we can actually fix up a lot more in the next time, like later on. We don't need to do it right this second. It just needs to not be floating for the moment. Oh, and to top it off, I add a lantern on top because, you know, lighting and, you know, it's pretty and why not? You know what? You understand why there's lanterns. Yeah. I then decided to go and make my dock, which instead of making it over where I originally planned, I decided to make it down here as it's much more open and, you know, you can get a bit more boats around here. But as I was placing down the support beams, I got instantly distracted because look what I found. I found an under the water dungeon which has got a zombie villager spawner. I would not have found this if I built it on the other side. I don't know when I would have, if I ever would have. This is an insane find and I'm very happy. So I made some vertical spruce slabs for some rail guard and it just looks so nice, but then I absolutely struggle to put it on the other way. Like these are so dumb to place. Slabs in general are dumb to place, but come on, man. It was then time to curve off the dock. Time to curve off the dock. I don't know why I said deck. This isn't a deck. So the way it would actually, you know, extend out a little bit and have a couple of extra areas to dock up because, you know, I have so many people joining this world to come and dock at my house. And ow, my gosh, what are you doing? Sorry, I think my cat is eating me. That's not good. I'm not dead. I take a small break from building to get some more resources. So I go and get a bunch of fir logs because there's so many over here and I'm not going to use fir logs for anything else. So it makes sense to use these for some campfires. I then connect up a bunch of the fir trees to see if this works. It probably won't, but it's best to try it. I just crank it and got all the trees. All of them. There was like 6 or 7 of them combined and it was like a lot of logs. So I'm gonna be good for fir logs for a while. After getting all of that wood and making all the campfires, I decided it's time to extend these pillars all the way down to the bottom of the ocean. I was gonna terraform it so it would just connect up in a different spot, but nah, what's the fun in that? I've got the logs, I might as well use them. Now at this dock, I'm also making a little fisherman's hut to also connect up and make it feel a little bit more alive. So I've decided to go with another spruce like foundation for that. And I've also made it go a bit into the mountain. So I don't want it to like completely be inside the mountain. I'm going to terraform around it, but I don't want it to have too much back behind it. I kind of just want it to be like it's really close to the edge. I'll show that again shortly. Never mind, I did it sooner than I remember. I just kind of terraformed the behind bit only a little bit. Like there's only a tiny gap to go behind. So there's going to be like a ledge at the top there, which you can walk past and see the roof of this house. And if you want, you can parkour on top of it, but I'll probably have a bit of a barricade. So, you know, the people won't tend to do that because they don't want to crush this person's house. I then made the walls out of oak planks because I just, you know, wanted to give it a very basic feel. It's a fisherman after all. They're not made of money. They're just out here making sure the dock is kept clean and that the fish are still catchable. I don't know what a fisherman does. Any fishermen in the comments, let me know. What do you do for a living besides fish? I take a small break from the house to start working on the actual deck of the dock. So I'm using campfires, and as you can see, I'm probably doing it in the worst method possible because I'm constantly getting burnt. But that's fine, you know, that you live and you learn. I decided to texture the dock a little bit too with some spruce slabs to look like there's some like spots that had to be repaired because like planks broke, so they just kind of put a bit of plywood down. I feel that's a bit of good lore. I don't know. It looks like this dock is broken quite a bit now that I'm looking at it. They probably should, you know, invest in a whole new dock, but this town isn't made of money, so they're not going to do that. So before I decide to finish off the fisherman's house, I decided to connect it all up again with another path because I want to make sure I'm keeping on top of that. I want these buildings to always be connected, and that way I can kind of plan like what goes next, where's the next building going to be, who is going to be living in this town. I'm really thinking deep about who would actually live in this town, you know, like who would be the fisherman, who would be the blacksmith. Obviously I'm the one living in my house, no one gets to live in my house but me. I definitely need to make a skin that actually works for this world because at the moment I'm still dressed in this flannelette purple shirt and my purple bandana, which I don't own either of in real life. This is just my Minecraft skin and I like purple, so purple skin. But yeah, who do you think would like live in this town? I finally get back to the fisherman's hut and I use some dark oak planks and dark oak logs to make the peaked roof that I want for this building. It's pretty like simple, it's pretty basic roof, but it still works out really well, like especially for what I'm planning. So for the interior, I decided to give the fisherman it's not a bunk bed because there's not 2 beds. I used to want one of these beds. Oh, a loft bed. Yeah, I decided to make them a loft bed, you know, to float. Obviously, I mess it up here, but I decided to fix it. And here, it looks a little nice. I give it a little barrel, a crafting table. It's just a small little, like, building. It's nothing really major. Like, I'll probably put some extra decorations in soon, but for now, that's all it needs. I do decide to use these wooden ladders as like shutters that go on the side. I don't know why I would put it on both sides. It's only one window, but it still looks nice. The last thing I needed to do was just add in a path around the fountain so that way you can navigate to the next spot of the town without, you know, having to just walk on grass because, you know, the fountain is there like in the middle of a courtyard. It's not in a park. It's right out front of houses and such. All right, that's essentially what I wanted to get done for this video. I've done the interior of the house as requested. This definitely needs some work, but I don't know what really to put up here, so let me know down in the comments below. Like I had like a little desk or something like in the last world, but I don't know, and I had like a little bench here. I guess I could re-add that kind of stuff back in. This is kind of like my happy spot, like having like this ash, which is dust, and a remembrance of when my whole entire thing burnt down after I rebuilt it. I'm still baffled of how that happened. Future Noah, did you work it out before you edited? I don't think you did because I don't think I was filming. But yeah, I've fixed up the pathing. I've made this little fountain. I've got like little gold and iron in there, like as if I've like coins have been tossed into the fountain to make a wish. And then we've got a path that leads over to the blacksmith. I need to get an anvil. You would have seen that I changed like the recipe for the crushed iron, because that was the most piece of garbage thing I've ever seen in a mod pack, so I had to change that. It was infuriating. Like, if I could have just made it that I could put them in the smeltery, the crushed iron, and it would like double the from 3 nuggets to 6 nuggets, I would have done that, but I could not work it out. I kept on saying it didn't work, so I just gave up on that. And then we come down here and we have our little dock. I decided to move it from over here to here because, well, I mean, there's just much more open water. It's just, it doesn't look as cramped. I've got like a little fisherman's house here. He's got like his bed and such. I'll put someone in here. And then the biggest discovery we made this episode is the zombie villager spawner down here. I had no idea this existed until I was building this pillar, so I'm glad I decided to do it over here, because if I didn't, I never would have swam down there. Like, that's actually insane. Just me deciding to move from there to there, I got rewarded with that. So I'll be able to fill this place up with villagers as well, so that'll be cool. But thanks so much for watching Tales of Aeternus. I understand this is a different way to edit it, how I've done it all like voiceover in post. I'm testing it out. Like, I don't even know if it's going to work right this second, because I am still yet to put any of this into Premiere Pro, but we shall find out, and we'll see if it's going to be the new norm where I just essentially record everything and then come back later. I definitely need to fill this gap with some mud and stuff because it looks silly. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I shall see you guys next week with another video. Goodbye!